Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video. We are going to discuss reverse spam and how you can use it to build your business. Years ago I worked for a major search engine, and I worked anywhere from 60 hours to 80 hours a week. And in my spare time, I know that's hard to believe, you know, when I had a few minutes in between clients or that sort of thing, I mean literally just a few minutes, I would do the types of things that I'm going to show you in this video, and it didn't take long at all. And in less than a year, I built, they had an affiliate program, and I built a downline of over 1 million people. In fact, and that's 2 levels. An affiliate program is just 2 levels max. They can be 1, but oftentimes they're 2. So in 2 levels, I built an organization that was over 1 million members in less than a year and a half in my spare time. And in fact, my downline was so big that it was bigger than all the other people in the company's downlines combined. And oftentimes people think that marketing online is a lot harder than it is. And for some products it is difficult. I'm not going to kid you on that. But for certain types of products, it can become very, very easy. If you have a product that offers any form of real free advertising, and I'm not talking about run-of-the-mill, there's 50 million companies that have that. I'm talking about something different, something that isn't like the other things, but in fact does have free advertising. What you then have is a product that the majority of people online need. So, for example, if you're selling some lotions or potions or pills, and you go into some group or some traffic exchange or something like that trying to sell your product, when those people are in fact trying to sell their product, you're not going to have success. You're going to have very little success, because most people, most successful marketers, don't promote a bunch of programs. They don't join a bunch of programs because they know that they have to focus in order to be successful. So you go in there and try to sell them your lotions and potions and pills, you're not going to sell them, except for maybe a very, very small amount of people, and the amount of work that goes into it just really isn't worth your time, because time is money. But if you've got a tool that any business needs, then you've changed everything. Now you compound that with it actually being free, and that works like the most powerful capture page you're ever going to see. First off, in a capture page, most people never put their real information in. And then there's others who won't put in any information at all. They're just like, well, if you're not going to tell me, then I'm not going to put this in, so you can be put on some spam list. So that's why one that is free, because they're going to put their real information in. Why? Because they want whatever it is that's free. And 2, because there's no money involved, it gives them a chance, because like I said, let's take a traffic exchange, for example. They're in there trying to sell their product. That's what they're in there trying to do. And so they may see something they like, but you know, if they're going to join, they'll be all like, I'll wait till it comes. It looks interesting, I'll wait till it comes around again. Or, you know, it looks interesting, but I don't have time right now, I'll look at it later, you know, because I don't know if I want to spend this money, regardless of even if it's $1, okay? That takes thought. But when it's free, then they can go, oh, well, this looks good, I'm just going to sign up real quick and then I'll go take a look at it later. So it is the most powerful capture page for anything. From that point, you can take them into anything. They're now on your list. You're no longer a stranger to them. You're an upline in a program, and they're more likely to listen to you in whatever it is that you are trying to market. So a free, good advertising program, there's nothing more powerful as a way to build a business. Now, when I built that downline of over 1 million members, there was less than 100 million people online. I don't know, maybe it was more around like 25 million people. But of course, back then it was all essentially businesses. Most of the people that were online at that time were businesses. So that was a pretty strong feat. So how was I able to do it in such a small amount of time? Well, I targeted the people that I knew needed my product. Because again, that was actually advertising too. They had a free membership and they had a paid membership. And the free membership had a true benefit. It wasn't some kind of bait and switch type of thing. It had a true benefit. And so does the product that I'm going to tell you about. So because of this, you can get so many more people simply by using the technique. Now, definitely you can use traffic exchanges. It's a great place to advertise something like this, again, because every single person in there has a website. They're trying to sell a product and they need more traffic. So definitely that's an excellent place to do it. But where do you do when you don't have time? You know, maybe you have a job and you don't have a lot of time to sit there and surf the traffic exchanges. Just like me, 60, 80 hours a week, I didn't have time to really do that. So what I did was this technique that I'm going to show you. But before I show you that, I want to tell you, whenever you're selling any product, it doesn't matter what it is, your odds of success are based on how big the pool of people that can use your product. Not will, but can use your product. From can, you can turn them into will by, providing more and more information to them. But can, for example, is if I sell feminine hygiene products, that means the most people that can buy them is people who aren't children, and then what? Females. So the maximum of people that can buy my product is that group. So the larger your, and then of course you cut people out who don't believe in those kinds of things or whatever, the group gets smaller and smaller and smaller. But you always want to look at how many people can, buy my product. The bigger that is, the more success you're going to have, and the easier it is for you to get sales, customers, referrals, whatever it is that you're looking for. So with this product here, this is the only product that's ever existed online that has a bigger pool, is the market for domain names. That's like, fishing.com or google.com or yahoo.com or, whatever the domain name is. Because in order to have a website, you have to have a domain name. So that has always been the biggest marketplace. Anybody coming online needs a domain, okay? So a lot of money being made by lots of different companies who sell that. Then other things come into play. You might say, well, the next thing would be web hosting, but not necessarily true, because a lot of people use services for their websites that don't require them to have web hosting. So next is hours. And if you haven't seen the video on our product, why it works, what makes it so good and so powerful and better than anything else, then I suggest that you do that. But this product, there isn't one, aside from domain names, that is bigger. But then you have to go back and go, wait a minute, but domain names aren't free, right? You can't get domain names for free, or you can actually get this product for free. So then it becomes a toss-up, what really does have the biggest pool of customers. So I'll go ahead and concede, if you want to concede, that domains is bigger. I don't agree with it, but I'll concede that if that's how you feel. I'll say, okay, it's domain names. But aside from that, there isn't anything else. Because once you have a domain name, once you have a website, that's like buying a billboard on a star. It literally is. This is a fact that if people understood this fact from the beginning, the .com bubble never would have happened. You know, everybody was told, you need your own domain name, you need your own website, and so everybody, you know, billions of dollars were spent on that, and everybody was getting their websites, and they're like, I got it, I spent all the money for the hosting. Back then it was really expensive. I spent all the money for you know, the webmaster and all this other stuff, and I have nothing. There's nothing coming from this. I'm not getting any benefit from it. And so I'm not getting any customers, I'm not getting any traffic. So, but it took people a lot of time. So once that first group said, well, this doesn't work, there were still, you know, hundreds of millions of other businesses to work through. And that's what caused the bubble and then ultimately caused the crash, because all these people had websites and they didn't have, it was just like them being on a star. It's not like a brick and mortar business where somebody may go to the business next to your business and then see your business and go, oh, that looks cool, I'm going to go check it out. On the internet, that cannot happen. And people often think if they, for example, submit their website to a search engine, that that's going to, you know, drive customers to their site. And now, probably, if there was probably 30 websites, but not millions of websites. There's nobody sitting there even going through 30 different websites, let alone millions of websites. And if you do a search for anything, no matter what it is, you're going to see every time the results is in the millions. So, yeah, you may have submitted to the search engine. Ain't nobody ever going to see it. No one's ever going to see it. So what people need in order for their website to be seen, and in order for their website to be seen, they need to have traffic. They need to have people going to their site. So that's why the pay-per-click era, even though everybody was so against paid advertising because they said it would mess up the internet, as it has, and just turned it into a big colossal time waster where you've got to dig through piles of junk to find anything worth value and truth and that sort of thing. The thing was, it allowed people a place to advertise on other people's websites through networks, yada, 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 to where they could get traffic to their website. Now, and that really changed things, because now people had a place to advertise. Now people had a way to get traffic to their websites. Now, at that time, before that happened, there was another way to advertise. It was a lot of work. Work was involved. You could buy advertising through them, and that was traffic exchanges. And again, traffic exchanges were also free, and every website used some sort of traffic exchange. It was basically, you look at my website, I'll look at your website, and it was that type of a thing. And generally, the website owner, the traffic exchange owner made something off of it. So maybe it was a ratio of, for every 2 you look at, or every 3 you look at, you get one, and the other one comes to the website, the traffic exchange owner, and then they can then sell that traffic. So that's how it worked. But for the most part, people didn't really buy that. They earned it. And you also could have a downline of like many, many levels where you earned a percentage of their traffic. All that stuff has pretty much gone away until now. So when the traffic, when these big ad networks came out, they needed to compete with the advertising that everybody knew. Because remember, the majority of people did not want them to begin with. So they're certainly not going to go, use them. So they had to make what they were using not work anymore. And so they created this thing called the bounce rate. And of course they didn't come out and say, oh, well, we're going to penalize you for this. No, they came up with another, reason that on the surface you might say makes sense if you give it no thought whatsoever. And that was that if somebody comes to your website and they don't click on your website, then that means your site is not interesting. Now, I released, I created the product that is used in this site about 6 years ago for another company. It worked tremendously well, and during that time, I did like training videos and stuff like that for that company, and I revealed these facts to the world. Now, nobody knew these things, and the changes that have happened in the last 6 years as a result of people knowing these things is really apparent if you know what you're looking for. For example, nowadays when you go to a website for a news article, for example, you'll get to read a little bit and then it'll say click to continue. Okay, why does it now say click to continue? Why don't they just show the whole thing? Well, because the idea of a bounce rate is ridiculous. Because, for example, if I see a news article, an ad for a news article, and I go and I click on this ad, I go click on that website, I'm going to read the news article and then I'm going to leave. Well, according to the search engines, that's a bounce, and that means that website is not interesting. So they're going to drive that site down. But really the whole purpose of doing this was to stop their only competition, which was pretty much free. I mean, you could pay, but very few people did. So if you want to come out and sell something that's really expensive and your competition is free, you need to do something to stop that. And that's really what the bounce rate is, okay? The bounce rate, because the idea that if somebody doesn't click on your site, that means your site is not interesting, is like saying if 100,000 people drive by a billboard and 100,000 people don't buy the product, or a very large percentage of them do not buy the product the very first time they drive by, that the product isn't interesting. There's no difference in those two things. So, and especially on the internet, people are so information overload. They're just flying through stuff. That's why they call it surfing the internet, because people aren't stopping to click on things, okay? So what has happened with the pay-per-click industry is they've set the bounce rate, which is a ratio between how many people click on your website and how many people don't click on your website. And they've set the ratio just slightly higher than traffic exchange traffic, which basically means if you use traffic exchanges, they're going to drive your website down in the search engines. If you use pay-per-click advertising, it's going to drive it up. In exact indirect proportions, okay, in the exact opposite proportions, your site's going to be driven. So and also from that time, you have the news articles and stuff like that have to click more. You also have this new kind of pay-per-click advertising. By the way, that's called clickbait. And this new kind of advertising networks out there that are literally nothing but clickbait. So if you go onto a website and you'll see something that says click here, you think it's from the website itself. Like they'll put them near videos and stuff like that, or downloads. So you think, oh, well, I'm clicking to buy this. And so you click it because what the advertising company knows, it's the clicks that are not just making the money, but also the clicks that are on the sites themselves. So they do certain things in the way that they structure their ads on the site to where the ads actually create a non-bounce, but still not as, not as high as what the product I'm going to tell you. But again, these things all came about when people discovered this thing called the bounce rate. Now, if you look at SEO traffic is a $65 billion a year, SEO is a $65 billion a year industry. And that's only if you count big business doing it. And you have to consider there are tens, hundreds of thousands of people out there that do SEO that are not counted in that ratio. There's no way for them to get the true statistics on any kind of data like that. But what they're claiming is $65 billion. So it's probably much higher than that if you consider that, and you consider the people doing their own SEO and that sort of thing. So what SEO is trying to do, the reason people do SEO, the reason people pay top money to have SEO done, is they're trying to get their sites in the top of the search engines, because that's where the sales come from. They don't come from people clicking on your ad. That's the trick. Okay, that's why they set it a little bit higher, because if they place their ads correctly in the right place, they can lead somebody to believe that that particular ad links to something they want. They're very, very small, and it's really hard to tell. But if a person actually believes that that product, that banner or that text ad actually links to what they want, once they click it, they're going to look and go, well, it's not there. Maybe it's under this tab. And then they're going to click again, and that's called a non-bounce. Now, pay-per-click advertising is definitely nowhere near 100% non-bounce. It's just better than the traffic exchanges. So when people pay, I think the average is pretty much, a little between $2.50 and $3 a click across all industries. So when somebody pays that $3 to have somebody click on their site, knowing that less than 1% of people will buy a product on the first contact, which means when they click that ad, far less than 1% are actually going to buy it. But the advertiser is paying for every single click. Now, that would have fallen apart really, really quickly, and nobody would have done it if they hadn't done the bounce rate. So if we say, okay, we set it up so that it creates non-bounce traffic, we heavily weigh that in our algorithm, we shoot those sites to the top of the search engines, that's where the sales are made, and then that's how the whole system operates. Okay, so the majority of all sales, even if somebody saw it on a banner originally, the majority of all sales come from search engines. When somebody says, okay, now I'm ready to buy, they're going to go to a search engine, they're going to look it up, and then they're going to go to the site. People, people don't go, oh, I really want some new tennis shoes. They don't go out surfing the internet hoping an ad for tennis shoes is going to come up. They go to the search engine and they do a search. So that is where the majority of sales comes from. So anybody who has a website, anybody who has something that they're trying to sell, absolutely needs this product that I'm going to show you. Well, I'm not going to show you. I'm going to show you how to get those people, because there's other videos for that. But anybody who has a product needs to have their site listed high in the search engines. Now, for a lot of people, they go, well, if everybody does this, then it won't work for anybody. Well, let me just tell you, everybody's not going to do it. Nobody ever does anything. Yeah, they may sign up, they may pay, and there's, aside from that, let me just preface this by saying, there's a lot of words, a lot of individual words that link to every product that you have. Now, when you do SEO or when you buy pay-per-click advertising, you're targeting key words and you're going to pay for every single one that you want. With this, it automatically targets anything that has to do with your product. I mean everything, not just your keywords, anything, because doing this is equivalent of somebody spending a fortune on pay-per-click advertising. Okay, so the option for this for businesses is you can do it cheaper, far cheaper here, or you can earn it for free, which you cannot do with pay-per-click advertising. Absolutely can't. There's no way to do it. This is the only way that you could actually get it for free. So now let's go to, now that we've established that anybody that has a website that they want to sell, a product that they want to sell on a website, any marketer, any affiliate marketer, any MLM or any website owner, all need this product. Whether they're going to use it for free or whether they're going to pay is irrelevant. They all need it, okay? And you will get a huge benefit even from your free members. So don't think, well, what if they don't all buy it, okay? Because you'll get huge benefits. Even financial benefits are possible even from free members. So what I want to show you here is we all get spam, and this goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the recording. We all get spam, and how did I get 1 million people on 2 levels just spending a few minutes here and there in the course of less than a year? How did I get that many people? And that's because I went to where the people were. Now, that product was nowhere near as good as this one, and as I said, there wasn't anywhere near as many people online. There wasn't near as many websites or people who need this type of thing. So the results can be far greater than this. So what this technique is called is reverse spam. What you're saying is, someone's emailing you that you didn't ask for information or anything like that. They got your email address, they bought it from somebody, or they scalped it, scraped it off the internet or whatever, and they're sending you stuff that you want to sell, so that they want to sell you. So obviously they are somebody who has a product to sell and are looking for people to sell it for too. So they are your target audience, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over here, and this is a spam folder, okay? So what you're going to do, and I already have the ad copied. You can make whatever you want as far as your ad is concerned. I will put this in the description of the video. You can use it. It works very well. Or you can look at it and go, oh, well, I want to make mine like this. I recommend you use it until you really understand exactly how it is that it works. Because if you don't understand how it works and you try to make it better, you're not going to make it better. So here we have this guy right here, Dr. Wazowski, trying to sell me vision repair services. So I'm going to click on that, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to click on reply. Now, see, this is actually a spammer, because see, this is my email address. So we can go ahead and, not this email address here, but it's an email address that I have. So, And of course, in that email account, I would have this email account, and that's how they, again. So yeah, email companies sell your information as well. And when you're using your accounts to log into other programs or join other programs, you're giving them your information as well. So, okay, so we're going to try this. This is probably going to be the same thing. Nope. Okay. So here we've got a real email address. I'm going to take out the subject line. We're not going to remove the video. We're not going to remove the email that they sent you. Okay. Then I'm going to put here first program to ShareRevenue even with free members. Now you can make it about, powerful free advertising. You can put whatever you want. In this example, I'm showing you what I'm going to do. The next thing I'm going to do is above their ad, I'm going to paste my ad. And it talks about how it's the most powerful free advertising online. There's just a little blurb about it. Then once I go down here, I'm going to hit and go, because you can serve the best, finest steak in the world, but if you serve it on a trash can, you are going to, it's not going to matter the quality of it. So we're cleaning up the quality of the delivery on this. If I don't change the subject line from his subject line, he's going to assume that I'm responding to his email, having with a question, or wanting some sort of, wanting some more information. And so that's deceptive for me to respond that way. And I don't want to make him mad. I'm trying to help him. So it's always important to change the subject line, okay? Now, the next thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to post my ad, as you call it, above his, and then I'm going to push it way down, and I'm going to explain why. Now, first off, this isn't spam, it's a reply. He cannot go and report my email as spam, because in order to do that, the company is going to require that you provide the original email. So if he goes, this is spam, they say, okay, we need the code. There's a special code that each email has. They're going to see that it originated with him. He's going to be the one that gets in trouble. Because if he says, I don't know her, they're going to say, then why were you emailing her? Okay? So again, about presentation, we also want to push their ad down by just putting a bunch of spaces, okay, so that when they open it, their email doesn't show. Because again, we want the best presentation for this. We don't want them to think it was some kind of auto reply or anything like that. And the only way that somebody is going to scroll down all the way down here is because they're looking for a remove link. Okay? They're looking for either a remove link, like this one, or they're looking for a spam notification saying, this is not spam because yada yada yada. Okay? So, and believe me, people that spam you will report you for spam if they can. But in this case, they cannot, because this is not spam. So we create the very best presentation so that the reader sees this as an email coming from me, just coming from me, and not anything that is related to them. They'll believe it or not, more happily accept that. For me, I'm the same way. If I go in and I see, like maybe somebody sends me something really offensive, as far as, like to me it's like a scam, and it's like, I don't want anything more from you because you are such a scammer. So I go scrolling down, and if I see my email, I'm not going to be upset. I'm just going to go, oh, okay, he's on my list. And that's it. So that's how you do it. So then you're just going to hit send. And that's it. And again, so we'll find another one. You want to make sure that you know, like these baiting ones that say you have money, you want to not respond to those. You want to just respond to real, because they're scammers. You don't want to confirm that they actually have a live email address that they're sending to. So, yeah, like this here. This is a fake one. Thank you for your payment, when you know you didn't. So, but here's one. So we're going to go to Sam. And we're going to hit reply and see if it's a real email address again, or if it's one of mine, and it's a real email address. So again, we're going to take this out. Now the most, once you've posted in the first time, you will be able to just click on the space where it's at, and you'll get that drop down menu like I just got. And then again, you post it above the email and just return a bunch of times and hit send. Now, some of these are going to bounce. Some of them are not going to be read by anybody. And that really doesn't matter, because everything is a numbers game. And so some will, some won't, so what? But but you will get people from doing this, because again, if your product is something like this, meaning you've got free advertising to offer them because they need it. If they didn't need it, they wouldn't be spamming you. So that's basically how it works. So what I would used to do was, whenever I had 5 or 6 minutes, whatever, in between talking to clients or whatever, I just would go in, go to my spam, and fill it out. You know, do what I just did and send, and then, you know, go back to work, do what I was doing. Every time I had a few minutes, I would do that. Nowadays, what I do is you really shouldn't put your email address, your real email address, on websites or anything like that, because there's software that can go out and harvest it, and you can get lots and lots of spam, unless you don't care if you get lots of spam like I do. So I will go out and put my email address out there, because I'll put it on websites, I'll put it in blogs, I'll put it on videos, I'll do all kinds of stuff, because I know it will be harvested, and I'll get lots of spam from people who have products they're trying to sell that I can then reverse spam and give them something that they need to help them with their business. So that's how you do reverse spam. It doesn't really work with paid programs. I'm just going to tell you it would be too much work to, if there's nothing free there, if it's not advertising, if you're trying to sell lotions, potions, or pills, or anything like that, anything that costs money, that has to cost money, or anything that is abnormal to an average person, it's not going to work. You're going to have too much, because any of those things take a lot more people. The numbers for those are much higher. And what I mean by that is, if you're advertising something for free, you may have a ratio of 3 out of 10, for example, that will get it. Where if you're selling something, your ratio may be 3 out of 100. So since you're manually doing this, it's going to be a lot more work, and you're probably going to give up before you ever get any results from it. So it definitely works. I definitely recommend it. It's a great way to reach people. Definitely better than doing some type of social media marketing. This absolutely does work. All right, thanks. Have a great day.